This is an SABC News presentation.
Goeienaand, welkom by hierdie regstreekse uitsending van Fokus vanuit 'n ysige Johannesburg. Die winter het die land nou behoorlik in sy greep. Maar dankie dat u oudergewoonte by ons aangesluit het. Ek is Lenet Francis. Vanaand fokus ons op Oos-London. Die sterftekoers by die Frere Hospitaal in Oos-London het in die afgelope kwartaal afgeneem tot 4 per 100 pasiënte. Dis aansienlik laer as die gemiddelde sterftekoers by Suid-Afrikaanse hospitale wat geraam word op 6,1 per 100. Dis 'n groot omwenteling nadat die hospitaal in 2007 juis in die nuus was oor die honderde pasgebore babas wat daar gesterf het weens onder meer 'n stampvol kraamsaal. 'n Nuwe strategie is in 2013 deur die hospitaalbestuur in werking gestel en dit werp reeds vrugte af. Die hospitaal spog nou met 'n hoogs moderne onkologie-eenheid van wêreldstandaard danksy 'n belegging van R203 miljoen. Fokusregisseur Jolien Reed en kameraman Sam Sibi het gaan kyk hoe sake nou by die hospitaal staan.
Die Departement van Gesondheid in die Oos-Kaap het onlangs die Frere Hospitaal se kankereenheid uitgebrei, alles in 'n poging om meer pasiënte te help, tyd te bespaar, as ook effektiewe gesondheidsorg aan pasiënte te verskaf. Fokus wou self hoor hoe effektief die dienste is.
This carte blanche theatre has enhanced the quality of care and has reduced the waiting time for children with cancer to almost zero. The children with cancer are treated as semi-emergency. So when the pediatric cancer specialists suspect a child with cancer, that child is given priority to come to theatre, whether it is for a biopsy, whether it is to insert a special line, like the first patient had a special line inserted close to the heart to give chemotherapy or to have an operation. So these children are given priority. Previously, we used to compete with adult patients in the main theatre.
Die Oos-Kaap is tans die derde grootste provinsie met 6,6 miljoen mense. 2/3 van die bevolking ontvang spesiale mediese behandeling by die Frere Hospitaal in Oos-London. In 2011 het die Departement van Gesondheid sowat R203 miljoen spandeer op opgraderingswerk by die hospitaal se kankereenheid.
One is a basic normal operation theatre, and the second one is a digital theatre in which we have facilities to do laparoscopic or keyhole surgery on any child with cancer or without cancer. We operate on children as small as 1 kilogram to as big as 70 kilograms. We also have computer screens which are linked to the hospital system, which we call PACS system, so we can access any patient's blood results or X-rays or CT scans sitting here in the operation theatre.
In die 2015-2016 finansiële jaar het meer as 1400 kinders die afdeling besoek. Van die kinders is met kanker gediagnoseer, terwyl kanker by ander vermoed word.
The common types of cancers we see are the cancers of the kidney, the cancers of the blood cell, and the cancers of the limbs of the arms and the legs over the body. Children's cancers are different than cancers in adult because they are more amenable to treatment. The commonest cancer for which we need to do a major operation is a cancer of the kidney in a child.
Liama Matanzima sê haar dogter het 'n abnormale koors gehad.
After around 3 hours, the temperature was still high. So I tried to pull her off, but when I touched her chest, I had a lump, and I just knew there was something wrong.
Met die hulp van die nuwe gevorderde tegnologie by die hospitaal kon dokters op haar opereer.
I'm so nervous. I just don't know what to expect, but I'm only hoping for the best.
Ons maak seker dat alle ouers dat hulle wel informed is oor die operasie wat gaan gebeur en dat ons seker maak dat ons allei hulle anxiety because as hulle baie anxious is as ouers dan mag dit die kinders ook affecteer.
And in fact, today we have a little girl who is about 6 years old who presented with advanced cancer of her left kidney, and with the help of our pediatric cancer specialist, they have given her chemotherapy and they have shrunk the size of the tumor for us to be able to safely take out her kidney with the cancer.
In Junie verlede jaar is bloedkanker by Zoe Holloway gediagnoseer. Haar ma Branwen praat oor hul stryd teen kanker.
By the Friday, she had her port fitted and started her day 0 of the induction phase. And then from induction, it lasts day 0 to day 28. And then she started consolidation, which is also another crazy, hectic stage of chemotherapy. And then they give you like an interim maintenance phase, which is not so strenuous on the little one's body. But then they do another phase called reinduction and reconsolidation, which is incredibly tiring on them. Very taxing on their bodies. Their blood counts drop considerably, and their neutrophil count, which is the count that they check to see if they can be out of isolation or in isolation, is tested quite regularly.
Sy is deur 'n pediater na die Frere hospitaal verwys vir kankerbehandeling omdat die privaat hospitaal nie die dienste verskaf nie. In die verlede is privaat pasiënte na die Rooikruis hospitaal in Kaapstad verwys vir behandeling.
The sisters and the nursing staff are qualified to give your child the chemotherapy. They're qualified to mix the chemotherapy, and they really know how to advise you as a parent on how to look after your child and work through the process and work through your new normal, your new life that basically you've had to succumb to.
We've got 4 units that are isolation units, they're en suites, so we can care for very, very ill children that need to be isolated. So the infrastructure is very good here.
Like we have a couple of patients who were initially diagnosed in private, and as the private services don't have oncology, pediatric oncology services, they refer them to us, and the patients have been very happy with the management here. And I think the way forward is to work with the private guys also, so that we look after all the oncology patients.
Die spesialiste vra dat die publiek moet uitkyk vir tekens van kanker.
Anything with the eyes, if they see white spots in the eyes or the eyes bulging, if the little one has got an unexplained fever for more than 2 weeks, or they're losing weight with no explanation, or they're bleeding and bruising easily, if the parents feel any bumps or lumps in their tummies or in the neck area, and also if they've got any, especially if children have aching bones and joints, they should be seen, and if they're walking funny or if they've got squints in their eyes. So those are the things to look out for, and important that they have to go then early to the clinic or to the nearest hospital, and the nurses and the doctors there will examine the patient, and hopefully if they pick up the signs, send it through to one of the oncology units.
Net hierna wys ons jou hoe volwassenes ook baat vind by die nuwe onkologie eenheid. Bly gerus ingeskakel. Welkom terug by Fokus. Soos ons in die eerste deel berig het, was daar groot opgraderings by Frere Hospitaal in Oos-London, maar die druk is steeds groot op hospitaalpersoneel, want die hospitaal bedien omtrent 2/3 van die provinsie se bevolking. Boonop moet baie mense honderde kilometer ver reis vir behandeling. In deel 2 van haar verslag vertel Jolien Rier en kameraman Sam Sibi dat die wagtydperke en diens reeds verbeter het.
When the new changeover, our folders were taken care of. You don't have to go and queue for your folder, that's a plus. And then you just take your appointment card, you drop it on the box, and then once your turn comes, they call you very efficiently.
Dr. Bishnu Pakrel sê daar is baie bewusmakingsveldtogte oor kanker en as gevolg daarvan is daar baie pasiënte wat na vore kom.
Cancer of the cervix, cancer of the breast in female, and cancer of esophagus, cancer of prostate and head and neck in male. These are the common cancer, and we see roughly about 2,000 new patients per year. Out of that, probably about 650 will be gynecological cancer, and another 600 will be breast cancer that we see per year.
In die laaste jaar het meer as 34,000 pasiënte behandeling by die eenheid ontvang. Vir die 2015-2016 finansiële jaar is sowat 7,1 miljoen van die hospitaal se begroting op kankermedisyne spandeer.
Just the chemo, not radiation, chemo. It's a tolerant one, but a good one. And the only thing is, I'm always scared of the needles. But it makes me feel nauseous and I want to sleep all the time. But other than that, I do know that it's going to help me and I will get better.
We were downstairs for so many years and we were just in a small corner there. If I can tell you, there we're only having 2 couches because there was no space. But now if you can see, it's about 8 sofas and the patients are really comfortable. And even when they come, you see they really have that hope that we're going to come right.
When they are sitting here waiting for the doctors to see them, they are entertained. We have also a television set for them. And also in terms of waiting period, we have a pharmacist that has been allocated here, which means everything is moving very fast.
In die verlede kon hulle net 2-dimensiële behandeling aan pasiënte verskaf en net 'n fraksie van die pasiënt se inligting verkry.
Now with the CT scanner that we use, we can do 3-dimensional radiotherapy. So we not only treat the planned target volume accurately, but we also are able to spare the organs at risk much more. The old cobalt that we used to have, we used to be able to treat only to a depth of 0.5. The new linear accelerators deliver much deeper penetration, so we're actually able to treat those deep-seated tumors much more accurately.
Every month I must go to oncology to put the tube there. So I'm admitted on the 3rd to sleep here. So I'm came to chemo and machine. So I'm feeling nice now. I'm better. Because every day I'm just eat, I'm vomiting, I'm take the water to drink before and put your food inside. So at least now I'm eating slow. I'm not vomiting every day.
Brachytherapie word op servikale kankerpasiënte toegepas. In die verlede, as 'n pasiënt meer as 120 kg weeg, moes die personeel hul vra om eers 'n bietjie gewig te verloor voordat hulle die behandeling kon toepas.
The thickness of the patient now we don't really mind because we have got a very high energy, 15 NV energy that can deliver like it does spot and to a very thick patient. You know, the African women like the big ones or big African ladies. So we can deliver the very quality dose or very sort of like encyclic dose to a certain region, even if they are thick as much as African women.
Die eetkundiges meen dit is noodsaaklik dat pasiënte gesond eet.
When people have cancer, it changes their metabolic rate. So it means that their requirements are more. So they need more protein or more energy. And depending on the type of cancer you have, it can influence your needs. So if you have cancer of your esophagus or your throat, it would be different from someone who had cancer, say, for example, of the cervix. So the needs need to be individualized depending on the type of cancer that you have.
More protein-rich foods, because we tend to go to the more energy-dense foods, but protein foods are essential for our cancer patients, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the very expensive sources like the red meats and the chicken. It can be fish, even tinned fish, it can be maas, it can be eggs, it can be beans or lentils. So there are cheaper options to try and get more protein into the diet.
Mense met kanker se lewens en die van hul geliefdes word handomkeer verander.
The doctor, when he diagnosed for me, I was devastated because I thought it can never happen. It wasn't in our family. And when they told me that they thought I needed to have a double mastectomy, the chief surgeon here just said, no, I want a biopsy done straight away, and handed me over to a nurse in the chemo section who sat with me all the time until my husband got to me.
Ek is op die 5 jaar pil gesit en na elke 3 maande kom hulle treatment. Ek het 1 bors, maar hulle het vir my enige gegee om in te sit, so ek kan net dankbaar wees vir God. En vir my is dit nie 'n kwessie van jy hoef te bekommerd nie van ek meen jy kry pille, jy kry wat dit weghou is net genade.
It's not the end of the world. You can survive. And you can become who you were again. Because why? It's part of our journey.
Basically, the cure of the cancer, these days we cure about 50% of cancer overall. But if we detect earlier, the chance of cure is much higher compared to those who present late. And if we run the screening clinic, then especially in the peripheral clinics, then we can detect much earlier those cancer. And also public should be aware what are the early signs of cancer.
Maar wat hou die toekoms in vir hierdie hospitaal? Net hierna hoor ons van hulle langtermynbeplanning en hoe pasiënte gaan baat. Moenie weggaan nie. Die vernuwings by die Frere Hospitaal in Oos-London het reeds tot beter diens gelei, maar dis nie waar dit eindig nie. Die hospitaal wil nou met nog rolspelers saamwerk om gesondheidsorg verder te verbeter. Hier is deel 3 van Jolien Rier en SABC se verslag.
Frere comes from a long 135-year history of the colonial time, the apartheid times, and then the democratic dispensation era. And you can see that the hospital reflected those different times in how it was designed and laid out. So there was an imperative post-1994 to reconfigure and redesign the way in which we were delivering services and make sure that those services were actually meeting the demand that we were facing in our region.
Weens die groot aanvraag in die gebied moes die hospitaal die kankereenheid uitbrei. Die volwasse eenheid beskik tans oor 42 beddens.
Om in lyn te wees met wat die privaat sektor ook bied, wat wegbeweeg van die groot Nightingale sale af en meer fokus op 1 bed, 2 bed en 4 bedded sale, waar dit ook meer privaatheid bied aan die pasiënte en dan ook die ablisiefasiliteite. Ek dink dit is baie ongerieflik om tussen 20 mense 'n badkamer te gebruik waar op hierdie stadium met die nuwe fasiliteite is baie verbeter en ek dink ons doel bereik daardeur.
Sowat 68 miljoen rand is op die nuwe infrastruktuur in die afdeling gespandeer.
These units
are able to deliver different levels of energies used in any first world country. There's only a few of these units available in South Africa at the moment, and the efficacy of these units compared to the old cobalt source treatment that we used in 10 years ago is much more improved. So our patients are walking away from our treatment centers with treatment that has actually had the effect that they really came here for, which eases the job of our radiographers and our oncologists, supported by the physicists that are available in the hospital.
And I think that in all three areas, this project has achieved those goals. So for example, our ability to diagnose and treat patients is far more effective than it was before the developments. And again, this is because we've invested in human resources, in medical equipment, cutting-edge technology, and all of that has improved patient safety.
Hul tegnologie is van hoë gehalte.
It's the patients at the end of the day that have benefited the most. They've got access to the most basically modern treatment that they can. It is far more accurate than ever before, and we can verify that as well. We have all the equipment to verify that we are treating exactly where we want to treat as well.
So we're using first world linear accelerators in a third world setting, and that is important for our patients because they have more access, they have continuity of care in the new department. We are able to teach our students, whereas the private institutions, they do not have the students. So the radiotherapists that we produce are of a much higher caliber when you are able to actually treat them in a clinical setting and in a tertiary institution such as Frere Hospital.
I can assure you that in this supposedly small corner in Africa, we are able to provide the same quality of care which is provided either in Bombay or in Cape Town or in London in UK.
Dr. Rolien Wagner meen die hospitaal se ommekeer het reeds vrugte afgewerp.
We've had some significant success. We've had a significant reduction in the death rates at the hospital. When I came in December of 2012, the death rates per quarter were 5.88 deaths per 100. In the last quarter, it was sitting at 4 deaths per 100 because of a number of different interventions that we've implemented.
En dankie aan die hospitaal en bestuur wat hulle deure vir ons oopgemaak het. Dis ongelukkig waar ons eers halt moet roep. Ons is egter volgende Sondag aand weer om 6:30 op ons pos op SABC 2. En as jy weer na vanaand se program wil kyk, die program is later die week ook op YouTube beskikbaar. Soek net onder Fokus, SABC 2 en vanaand se datum. Maar soos altyd nooi ons jou om terug te praat. Stuur gerus jou kommentaar, jou tweets en jou voorstelle. Skryf net die woord Fokus gevolg deur 'n kort boodskap en SMS dit na 34444. 'n SMS kos R2. Word gerus ook 'n lid van ons Fokusgroep op Facebook en volg ons ook op Twitter by FokusZA. Ons hoop die jeugdag is vir u betekenisvol. Dankie dat jy by ons aangesluit het. Tot volgende Sondag aand weer om 7:30 net hier op SABC 2. Mooi bly.